saying things like that?
And this I have to show you. So Huffington Post is now pitching drag children. This has become a thing. This has become a thing on the left, that there are a bunch of 8 to 10-year-old kids, boys, who decide to dress up as drag queens and now are being promoted by their parents and put in the media. So I have a general problem with child actors as just a whole. I think it's a huge mistake for parents to get their children into acting publicly, because I don't think that children should be exposed to public discourse as a general rule. I think that kids don't know enough about what they want in their own minds. They're not capable of making reasoned decisions. They're not capable of making good decisions. I think it is particularly awful for parents to be exploiting their 10-year-old boys by dressing them up as girls or allowing them to dress up as girls and parade them in front of cameras looking like drag queens because this is somehow good for them. These are 10-year-olds. They're not capable. You wouldn't allow your 10-year-old to decide whether or not to do his homework that night. Why would you allow him? The hormones haven't even hit at 10 years old. This kid doesn't know he's gay. He's 10 years old. Unless he had an early onset puberty, he probably hasn't thought about sex yet. He's 10. Okay, but we're supposed to believe that this kid is somehow doing something brave and wonderful, according to Huffington Post. This is a form of child abuse. Here's Huffington Post promoting it. This is a 10-year-old boy who, if you can't see, is wearing a blonde wig and blue lipstick, dressed up as a drag queen.
I was born in Pride Month in the year 2007. Gay pride means self-expression to me. Hi, I'm Desmond is Amazing. I'm 10 years old and I'm a drag kid and I live in New York City and I am an LGBTQ activist and advocate.
Stop it for a second. This kid is 10 years old. How in the hell is this kid an LGBTQ activist? First of all, 10-year-olds should not be activists about anything. Anything. The only thing you can fairly make a case for on politics, why 10-year-olds should be activists, is maybe on pro-life issues, just because they're not dead. But otherwise, even then, I wouldn't use a kid as an activist for pro-life causes, and I love pro-life causes. But to make a kid an activist on sexual matters is perverse. Okay, it's actually perverse. If there were an adult who were not this kid's parents who dressed this kid up this way and put this kid in public, you would know that this was something perverse. And that's what Huffington Post is. Huffington Post isn't these kids' parents, but it's absurd. There's more of this. As a parent of 2 children, I cannot imagine doing anything remotely like this to my kid. Even if my kid wanted to dress like this, even if I thought it was okay for my kid to dress like this, putting my kid in front of cameras and playing that as an act of bravery on my part is just disgusting.
Drag is a form of expression and being yourself and dressing however you want and looking fierce, no matter what you're wearing. Even if your eyeliner went down and it's like so bad, you still look fierce. My motto is be yourself always, but I like to add this on. No matter what anyone says, and pay to hate no mind because they're not as fierce as you.
Okay, can we stop for a second again? So that's the end of it, I think. So this kid, notice the use of the word fierce there. Okay, this is because this kid has been culturally indoctrinated into the use of certain terms, right? 3-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 10-year-olds, they don't know the word fierce unless you have been engaged in a particular culture that glorifies a particular set of values. And listen, as your parent, if that's what you want to do and it's not damaging your kid, that's one thing. But to trot this kid out as an activist, as a free-minded activist, is really quite gross. You want to be 18 and do this again, that's your prerogative. You want to be 25 and do this. You want to be an adult and do this. That's your prerogative. But this is a parent who decided that they were going to get their kid some attention and decided that they were going to therefore encourage these sorts of tendencies in the kid. You think this kid isn't going to experience a harder life? I'm not even talking about quote-unquote oppression from people outside of this kid. I'm not even talking about bullying, which of course is not appropriate in any case. What I am talking about here is that confusing kids about their own sexual identity and gender at the age of 10 and not attempting to provide them any sort of solid grounding for this stuff before they even hit puberty is not a recipe for mental health. But the entire left would suggest that it's intolerant to say this. The only form of tolerance is to cheer along as a 10-year-old kid is dressed up in drag queen outfits and paraded in front of the drooling media. It really is quite horrifying.
In this day and age with the internet, ignorance is a choice, and they're still choosing ignorance.